Hi, my name is Scott Ferreira. I'm the founder and CEO of My Social Cloud, and I'm currently 22 years old.
My name is Stacy Ferreira. I am the co-founder and vice president of My Social Cloud, and I just turned 20 years old.
What inspired us to start My Social Cloud was during my freshman year, my computer crashed, and it kind of opened us up to how vulnerable we are and how reliant we are on our hardware. And in looking at all the important things that I lost, I realized that the usernames and passwords that I had stored in my browser and in an Excel spreadsheet, all of the bookmarks I had saved for research for that year, all of these things, were gone now. And there was no real good solution to store all of these things kind of in the cloud. And so when I was discussing this with Stacy, we both kind of said, there's got to be a way to solve this and put all of this stuff online so that you can access it from anywhere, regardless of the computer, the tablet, the phone, whatever you are using, regardless of the device. And My Social Cloud was born that summer, 2011. And then, one of the days in July, Stacy found a tweet from Sir Richard Branson.
And the tweet said, "Come meet in Miami for cocktails, donate $2,000 to charity." And I took the email address that came out in the next tweet, and I was like, "Hi, I am not old enough to legally drink cocktails in the United States, but can I come meet you? And can my brother come too?" And we got an email back later that night that said, "Sure, donate $4,000 and fly to Miami in 48 hours, and you can meet Richard Branson."
So, it was crazy, right? I mean, we both had looked up to him for a really long time. It was so exciting to hear back from them. It was a lot for us, but for $4,000, we could have the opportunity to kind of shake Sir Richard Branson's hand and talk with him one-on-one.
And we called up our parents and we were like, "Can we please borrow, $4,000 to donate?" And my dad was like, we'll loan you guys the money, but you have to pay us back in 2 months. So we flew to Miami and we were able to, as Scott said, meet with Richard Branson and talk to him one-on-one and get his contact details.
So thankfully we were able to send him a prototype, and he said, "Hey, this is really cool, but I personally don't know much about tech." So he then introduced us to a friend of his or colleague of his, Jerry Murdoch, who does a lot of tech investments. Jerry was intrigued as well and actually came out to meet us in this very office. And later that evening, over dinner, he kind of officially agreed to fund us dollar for dollar with Branson. And so the two of them came in for just under $1 million of investment, which was amazing.
I think we wake up in the morning some days and we're like, "Pinch us, is this real?" But it is.
I started my first nonprofit when I was 13 years old. It was called The Open Table, which helped individuals and families get back on their feet out of poverty. And then soon after that, I joined a team called Jom Social.
And when Scott was working with Jom Social, he got me interested in tech. And so I started learning how to code and building my own little mini social networks for my friends.
I know the first kind of big thing was to come back to LA, because Stacy had just finished up high school and I had just finished up my sophomore year. As the typical student does, you go home, which for us was in Scottsdale, Arizona, and just kind of find a job there or chill for the summer.
But we decided that instead of just staying at home, we would move back to LA without our parents and work full-time on a business that we could call our own.
Our parents weren't the most fond of this idea, and they said, if you do this, you're on your own. So that was pretty scary for us. We're trying to create technology that allows you to access this stuff no matter where you are.
The first step is starting with allowing people to store their usernames and passwords and one-click access to everything online and storing all your bookmarks.
The first step is kind of, how do we help people with that? Users will be able to use our platform to access platforms the world over and not even have to worry about usernames and passwords. We will take care of those. We're working towards something that we strongly believe in, and we get to work with a team that we want to work with.
So for me, the best part about running my own company is the freedom to kind of have a vision and just move towards that vision 100%. It's not really a difficult problem, but there is definitely a balance between, you know, wanting to be the teenager that all your friends are being and being, you know, a business person that's running a business. But I wouldn't change it for anything.